Hello, I'm Russ, your favorite welder that's passionate about passive income. I'm so happy that you're hanging out with me and joining me on this journey to a net worth of $1 million. And in the month of August, we got almost $830 of dividends and option income that I'm going to tell you about. But remember, you can follow along for free every week with the newsletter where I share a few thoughts and ideas and, of course, all the portfolio activity. And I hope you stick around to the end of the video because there was a really big change that stemmed from a live stream that we did. We do them on Sunday nights, and this one was something that I was completely wrong about and had to eat a little bit of crow. Now, in the month of August, we had no dividend changes, no Simply Safe dividends upgrades or downgrades on the safety scores. And remember, all the cards you're going to see in this video are from simplysafedividends.com. Look at this, it's a little lantern. And because this is a great community that we have, we want you to be part of the community and share in the comments below what you've been buying or selling, any interesting portfolio moves that you've made, or something that you've got your eye on. Now, you can also follow me on Blossom, which is the newer financial investing community social media platform, and it records all the portfolio activity in real time. So click that link below and follow me on Blossom and say hello. Now, in the month of August, we received the last and final dividend payments of AT&T, ticker T, $22.76. The next three are monthly dividend stocks, which is Main Street Capital, ticker MAIN, paid us $36.75. Agree Realty, ticker ADC, hit us with $22.75. Realty Income, the big O, gave us $52.60. AbbVie, with a capital V, paid us $38.75, ticker ABBV. Our biggest position, Nexstar Media Group, ticker NXST, hit us with $192.66. And I think Nexstar Media Group is one that's going to surprise people because they have a lot of free cash flow generation. They buy back a ton of shares. And next year, from the political ad spend revenue that they're going to receive, I think that they could be sitting at a free cash flow yield north of 20%. I could be wrong, not financial advice, but I think they're a little bit misunderstood and overlooked by the market right now. Starbucks, ticker SBUX, paid us $44.46. And Enterprise Products Partners, ticker EPD, hit us with $91.88 of distribution income, which also generates a K1. More on that later. And then I should have waited on this, but I bought back our Nexstar Media Group, ticker NXST, $195 covered call option. We bought that back for a total gain of $326.67, which was about an 82% return in 13 days. I think annualized, that's a shade under 10% return. And when that was all said and done, we received $829.28 of dividend and option income in the month of August. And we had two sells. One of them was really big. The first one, 15 shares of ticker SCHG, the Schwab US Large Cap Growth ETF at $96.18. And we sold those because it was in the Roth, and I kind of realized that I already have a lot of exposure to what's at the top of SCHG with our mutual fund investments that we don't really share on the channel, but we have plenty exposure to the S&P 500 and what's at the tippy top. I think I last read that the Mag 7 make up about 35% of the index, so a lot of exposure to a lot of those names. And also SCHG has a slow compound annual growth rate, so that may have just been the icing on the cake for that. We also sold 157 shares of Toronto Dominion Bank, ticker TD, at an average price of $59.75. Now, with dividends received, we were up about 1.5% on that position. And the reason we blew out of it is because of the anti-money laundering investigation by the United States government. You know, we're going to see what happens, but they reported that they set aside $2.6 billion in anticipation of potential fines they may have to pay. They also sold off about 2% of their stake in Schwab, ticker SCHW. So they're kind of drawing money down for that. They reported their first quarterly loss, or their first loss in decades. Now, they're probably going to be fine, but honestly, when I had to think about it, you know, the anti-money laundering thing, which would had to do with, I think, Chinese drug laundering and an employee that potentially took a bribe, all this stuff, that there could be a lot of blowback. There could also be a lot of penalties that are non-monetary, like the US putting a limit on how they can expand, a limit on their operations inside the United States. It's just a lot of up in the air that we don't know about. And then I think the cherry on top was, I've listened to every Berkshire annual meeting since 1994. And in 2013, at the Berkshire annual meeting, Charlie Munger, God rest his soul, said that back in the day, the banks, their financial statements used to be a lot easier to understand, but right now they do so many things. There's so many footnotes. There's so much gobbledygook that it's really difficult to understand the operations of big banks. And I kind of agree with that and had to step back and say, if Charlie Munger's putting some of these big banks on his too hard pile, then what do I know? And I'm looking for something a little bit easier. So here's some of the things that we did buy. We bought 75 shares of Enterprise Products Partners in the month of August at $29.21. And what spurred that Enterprise Products Partners purchase was, if you go to ceobuys.com, you can find out what the CEOs of a corporation are buying with their own money on the open market. It's not restricted shares or anything gifted to them. It's their open market purchases. So AJ Teague, the co-CEO, had bought a chunk of shares. I followed in his steps. 4 shares of Starbucks, ticker SBUX, at $75.33. And also check it out, Starbucks is about ready to raise their dividend again. They raised it 7.5% in September of 2023. Man, I really wanted to get to 100 shares, and then they had to go ahead and ruin that by letting Laxman Narasimhan go and stealing Brian Nickel from Chipotle, and the stock price just had its biggest one-day jump ever after just recently having its biggest one-day drop ever. Things move quickly nowadays, and I thought we were going to be able to achieve 100 shares and get those under $80, but we're waiting for that to cool off a little bit. So Starbucks right now has got a window open. They got a huge window, a boost of confidence in Brian Nickel, but they're going to have to put up numbers to back what he could potentially bring to the table. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'm guessing and praying and hoping there's going to be some short-term volatility so I can get some shares at a cheaper price, but I think Starbucks is going to be just fine over the long run. And then in the Roth, we bought 4 shares of Visa, ticker V, at $258.46. Also, Visa is going to be coming up with a dividend raise here probably in October, because last October 2023 they raised that dividend 16%. 2 more shares of Agree Realty Corporation, ticker ADC, at $72.99. 1 share of Vici Properties, ticker VICI, at $31.63. And because we have a lot of that cash just sitting around, almost $10,000 in the self-directed IRA, kind of not seeing any screaming buys right now. If you have one, let me know. But we parked that money, temporary pit stop, into ticker SWVXX, which is the Schwab Value Money Fund. And because they're invested in treasuries, those shares are always going to be right around $1 a share. We bought 4,000 shares, so $4,000 dumped into that. That gave us a nice yield of almost 5.5% until the Fed starts cutting rates. Then that is naturally going to come down. But as you see on the screen here, they've had really rapid dividend growth thanks to the historic fast pace of the recent rate hikes. But obviously, if they start cutting, this is going to come down a little bit. So this is just a temporary parking spot for some of this cash, and hopefully we'll start to see some screaming buys pop their head up. And then after Dollar General had one of its worst days ever, we bought a call option, not a covered call. We bought a call option for Dollar General that expires on October 18th, 2024 for $100. And if you don't know, options are gambling. I don't go to the casino. I don't play the lottery. But there are times I take educated guess gambles, I guess you could say. So we bought this call option for $80. And of course, I didn't see a strong dead cat bounce. A week later, hey, it's trading at about half of what I paid for it. We'll see what happens. I have until October. And that's the thing with options. Always remember that they are gambling because you are betting on direction and time. You have to be right on those 2 things to make money if you are buying a call option. And we'll see what happens. I'm confident that one day Dollar General will be over $100 again. It could take years, it could take days, nobody knows what is going to happen. So it is gambling, and that's a gamble that I took. Now I will have a link to this spreadsheet below, and if you're a lunatic that has nothing better to do and you want to click on it and look at it, but you can see everything here. We have all the projected annual dividend income gain from what we bought: $157 from EPD, $9 from Starbucks, $8 from Visa, $6 from ADC, $1.73 from that one share of Vici, $200 currently. If we were to sit in SWVXX for the whole year and the yield stayed the same, it would be projected annual dividend income of $200. So all in all, that was a gain of $382.67. And then to the losses, Toronto Dominion, yeah, a little bit big one, but I just feel more comfortable with what we did moving out of Toronto Dominion Bank. Well wishes to anyone who stayed in. I hope it blows over and they pay $0 in fines or a couple $1 million slap on the wrist, but lost $471 of patty from that. SCHG, $4.95 loss, so total of negative $475.95. For August, it was a net loss of projected annual dividend income of $93.28, but we're sitting on a lot of cash, and I'm looking for some deals, probably going to DCA some of that in a little bit, because if we don't, right, that's kind of just market timing. We're timing the market, sitting around waiting for, a better deal or for some screaming buy opportunity, which may never come. So let me know, do you prefer DCAing, or would you lump sum invest the whole shebang into spread it out amongst several of the holdings? Let me know, and then there you go, $829.28 of the dividends received. Hey, that was the month of August. So I told you there was a big change, and it stemmed from Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, a conversation we had during one of our Sunday evening live streams, the weekend dividend communion. Hey, if you're not busy on a Sunday night, chances are we'll be live streaming. Stop by and say hello. So in this floating little box next to my head, I'm going to tell you why I sold EPD and what I bought instead. So check that video out, and I will see you over there.